So Billy, an extremely dramatic afternoon, a 1-1 draw in the end here against Parkgate. How did you see the game today?
I just think it was one of them games, isn't it? Football's like that, and we've talked about it before the game that everyone gets a bit of a bogey team at some stage, even the teams that win at the highest level. And we talked about the fact that we're coming in after the disappointment of the FA Vars, the fact we've not played for a while. We've had sort of a bit intermittent with the games and that. So we knew it was always going to be difficult. And I think in the end, the clock's beat us and that's. But credit to Parkgate, they got out the traps well, they hassled as well, and that's what will happen at this time of year. Teams will get a bit of self-belief and if they can continue and do that for the manager week in, week out, I'm sure they'll get out of trouble.
If you go back to before our ball was kicked today, you made 4 changes to bringing in Sellers, Milne, Carlin, George. What made you make that decision before the game?
I'm always saying to the lads that we've got a really, really good squad at this football club, and it's really important that sometimes we'll go into games and we'll look at the way they set up, the way we want to set up. It's important that lads who have been patient and waited their time, they get their opportunity as well. And I think what it allows us to do is, we're in a good position when with 60 minutes played, we can bring Baker on, we can bring Josh Green on, Josh Barrett, Nick Black, who didn't get on the pitch today as well, though could quite easily have been in there. So too with Tomer as well. And Tomer needs some game time as well, and he needs to start soon. And we'll continue to do that because we'll need all 16, 17 players throughout the course of the season. Obviously, if he dropped down because we needed Milne to get some game time today because Greg's away next week, away down south with family. So it's important that we rotate the squad and we do it in the right way. People can say that it might upset, the rhythm, the patterns of play and that, but it shouldn't do. We're going to need all. We're going to need all. We're going to need all 16, 17 players that we've got in the squad, and like I say, you put the game into sort of. We had 16 shots in total, 14 of them on target. I think we had 2 or 3 cleared off the line. We hit the bar. And on another day, we look at some of the chances that we had. Now, Jimmy Reid was quite disappointed with a couple of his headers. I thought his header when he hit the bar in the first half, if that goes in, that changes the whole the outcome of the game. But we've got to move on.
Yeah, if you look at the first half, you just mentioned it. We had plenty of chances. Beadle's header, which it nearly went over the line, hit the bar. Conway had a chance, close range, saved. Were you disappointed not to score in the first half?
Yeah, a little bit, but sometimes football's like that. I think you've got no God-given right to win football match. You've got to earn the right. You've got to earn the right by playing well, playing hard, playing in the right areas. I think we changed the game plan at half time. But certainly, Clates, who were looking at the opposition, spoke about where we thought their weaknesses were, and then Ife's come in and talked about the sort of direction and the patterns of play that we wanted to use and how we wanted to, the areas that we wanted to play in, and that's all backed up with Laurel's stats in terms of going forward. And we changed the game plan at half time, and they listened, and because they listened, we got a lot more joy in the second half.
If you just look at Parkgate's first half goal, are you disappointed in them having conceded that?
Yeah, well, you could argue that Milne probably a little bit too tight at the time, but we can give him that one. He's not played a lot of football in the last few weeks, and to be fair, I thought Gary had got to it, and we're quite surprised actually when it trickled in, beating on his near post. But sometimes that just happens. I think he took it early, he took it well. Gary's probably expecting him to go across the keeper rather than into the near post. So yeah, disappointed to concede it, but if you reverse it, if we'd have scored it, we'd have said it was a great goal. So probably worthwhile giving the lad a bit of credit for it.
If you look into the second half, it was pure domination from our side, wasn't it? How do you sum up that half? Because
I think the half itself, I think footballing wise, there are about 22 minutes played in total. I think they used, they used their game plan, they executed it very, very well. They frustrated us. They got it into the right areas at the right time. They run down the clock at every opportunity, and to be fair to them, I've been in them positions, and they're the tiny things that you do when you fight for your lives, and you can come and because you can pick yourself up on the back of as a team near the bottom of the league, you use that to bounce back, and you use that to build and gather a bit of momentum. So I'm just a little bit disappointed that in the end we sort of ran out of time, and if the game had gone on a little bit longer, then we could have created 1 or 2 more chances. But to have 14 shots on target and only come away with 1 goal, a little bit disappointing, but you know, you look at some of the other results today, and you look at teams in and around us getting beat, which we always knew was going to happen. You know, to not get beat is probably the most important thing.
We did finally get the equaliser. I'm not sure what minute was scored in, but we got the penalty which Jimmy Beadle dispatched.
Yeah, very well as well, to be fair. Interestingly, Ify said to me the last time he wasn't on the pitch and he was in the dugout with the management team, we got a penalty in a similar sort of situation. We were 4-3 down at Rainworth and Jimmy Beadle stepped up and missed it, so he filled us with loads of confidence. Barton, sorry.
Cheers, Ify.
And we were at Cheers, Ify. Yeah. But yeah, he dispatched this one very, very well, straight down the middle with pure power.
Was it a penalty for you? I didn't see much.
I think it was a bit, it probably less of a penalty than the first one was. And I think the first one, you know, I think the first one was clear cut. So I think it was on the cards, to be fair. We had a good call in the first half as well with Connor Sellers going through. We had quite a big call for a penalty there, but to be fair, I think on reflection now we look back and we'll take the point, we move on as quick as we can.
If we went through our chances in the second half, we'd be here for about half an hour,
Absolutely.
so not good for everyone, but Baker had a disallowed goal from the corner, great side foot finish.
Yeah.
It looked like it was out of play, but that was a shame. Obviously Beadle had a free header, just narrowly wide. Michael had a shot, stayed onto the bar. We could go on, but it was one of them days,
just one of them days that you get them in football, don't you? You come away and you think, my God, we threw everything but the kitchen sink at them.
You get the feeling that it won't be our day?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, to be fair, at one stage I didn't even think we were going to get back into the game. I thought we were going to actually get beat 1-0 and we'd walk away and drool over the missed chances. But, you know, fair play to the lads. They're stuck at the task. They've got great character. We've got a great dressing room, as you've seen while you've been in here waiting to do this. We've got some great characters, we've got some good lads, they work hard, they train hard. You know, we've played about 2 games in the last sort of, you think Milne were away for nearly 7 weeks and missed 4 games in total, which gives you an idea, and you kind of lose that momentum a little bit that we had, certainly in them 4 games when we did really, really well with Handsworth and Worksop in the Cup. So what we've got to try and do now is just keep ourselves on track and hope that the weather doesn't interrupt the programme too much, but inevitably at this time of year it's always going to do that.
Worksop and Cleethorpes both lost today, as you mentioned. Point gained or 2 points lost in your opinion?
Probably 2 points lost. I think that's fair to say, you know, if we're going to win it, but at the end of the day it could be 3 points lost. I did say, you know, a few weeks back when everyone was saying these have got 4 games in hand, they've got 5 games in hand, they can go 4 points clear here, they can go 8 points. I said then that these teams all like to play each other, and they're doing that now. And I think the ones that come out the other end of it, bear in mind we've done it. We've been to them all. We don't have to go to any of them again, they've all got to come to us a little bit later on in the season, I think starting with Worksop at the end of January. So what we've got to try and do now is just worry about ourselves, make sure that we're matching the teams around us and that we're just picking the points up as and when we need to and tick the games off.
Moving on to Boxing Day now, we travelled to Garforth Town, another tough game, nice local away day for us.
No, it'd be brilliant, and I believe Rob Hunter's gone back in, chatting to him this morning, he's gone into Garforth Town as well, and I think he was over there watching him play for the first time today. So he's going to assist in there, so it's great to see Rob back in the game, and his first game back in the dugout will be against us next week. So yeah, fingers crossed everything will go well this week, we'll get the right weather, we'll enjoy Christmas, and then we'll get on, we'll prepare for the game. We'll still train this week as normal, as we would do, and you know, again we'll go into that game which will be at full strength with no injuries or anything like that today, so looking forward to it.
From all the club finally, Billy, Matt and Lauro, I'd like to wish you a very happy Christmas and hope you'll be planning your tactics on Christmas Day.
Absolutely. Me and Matt have already got a scheduled phone call Christmas Day. No, and on behalf of all the players and certainly the management staff, you know, fantastic again from the Tad Army again today. Having them there just makes such a difference, makes it all worthwhile. And I hope every single one of them has a brilliant Christmas, and we'll see them on Boxing Day over at Garforth.
Yeah, enjoy your day. We'll see you again next week.
Thanks.